Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP ABAP on HANA training. In the last episode of ABAP on HANA training, we discussed about creating end-to-end database procedure proxies, consuming database procedures in ABAP layer. And I've got this very interesting question from Ranjan today on my mailbox regarding yesterday's class. So let me just quickly start with that question, and then we will move on to our topic on AMDP and continue for that. So Ranjan is saying, Anubhav, is it mandatory for me to learn HANA Access to create procedure in ABAP system? So can anybody would like to answer this question to Ranjan? Ranjan is not attending regular class. He is following videos. So is it mandatory for him to learn HANA Access to create procedures or SQL script code using database? Anybody? So Krish is saying no. Can you elaborate, Krish, why it's not mandatory for him to learn SAP HANA Access to create procedure in ABAP system? Krish, would you like to comment on this, unmuting your line? Why? What do you think?
What is the need of HANA Access to create a procedure in ABAP system? Right?
Absolutely, there is no need. So, very clear thing, guys. HANA Access stands for extensible, or I say extended services. It is used for the people who would like to become developer.
It's something like lightweight application server, right?
HANA only. Yes, it's like something like lightweight HANA applications. That's when you need HANA Access. Otherwise, you don't need HANA Access learning. Coming to the specific answer to this question, procedure part, you are having ABAP as your middleware right now. So ABAP still is live, it's not dead. This ABAP layer, which is there in the middle, is actually the main layer you are focusing as an ABAPer today. Though you are running on SAP HANA database, always keep in mind your 3-tier architecture. So your middleware is still the ABAP layer, guys. Then at the bottom, you have this ABAP layer connected to your SAP HANA database over here. So considering all these factors, you would clearly see that this is still the main bread and butter you will be working with, ABAP layer. So this is always getting more higher precedence and higher importance than HANA Access. So Access is something, a lightweight application server built by SAP within HANA. So if you are using Access, means you are getting rid of ABAP. So if you want to completely get rid of ABAP and build your complete application on HANA database, that's when Access is required. Otherwise, there is no point of Access being used in the system or in the project. The another interesting point I wanted to clarify why he would have become, I can understand he would have become confused, is that when I started yesterday's class, I told you that it's not a good practice or right way to create a procedure in the system, because you will not be able to transport it since it's not part of a package and it's also not part of a delivery unit. So in such case, if you still want to lock it into a delivery unit and put it in a transport, then you would better go with this new development technique which we use in Access development. Okay, so I will quickly show you a sneak peek of that. Hence, though it's covered in my advanced course, but just quickly show you creating a simple project, simple Access project, and adding a procedure, and then you can also transport this procedure to your quality system via delivery unit using normal or using HTC, HANA Transport Container. Okay, so that's what I will show you quickly, a sneak peek. How can you do that? And another interesting point I want to demonstrate, that you cannot directly create procedure as part of a package inside your package of SAP HANA. So that's the reason you need to create an Access project, though it's not really an Access project which you will create, because you will not necessarily be creating Access JS files and Access application files. But yes, it's just a a kind of a handler for you to generate the procedure in underlying package so that it can be logged into a transport unit. Now, also, if somebody asks you this question in interview, what is the best answer you would give? The best answer should be no. We don't need any excess knowledge to build procedures when we are running on ABAP layer, because if we are on NetWeaver 7.4 SP5 onwards, we can create something called AMDP, ABAP Managed Data Procedure. Okay, I think you completely missed this part, Ranjan, while reading it. So AMDP is exactly meant for the purpose. You create a procedure, you create your SQL script logic, your procedural block into the ABAP layer, and the moment you call it first time, it automatically creates a procedure for you in the HANA system. So that's the main purpose of using AMDP. Okay, so why do you need now to do a bottom-up approach? Because you already have top-down approach where you create an AMDP here, and when you call this AMDP first time, it generates a procedure automatically into the HANA database. Your life cycle is also simplified, and it is much better when you have a ABAP stack. If at all you don't have any ABAP stack, then you would go with access-based development. Clear? Hope this question is answered, Ranjan. If you have any follow-up question, please drop me an email. I will also include that as part of my next training video. So hope you understood the need from an ABAP point of view. ABAP point of view, you really don't need any understanding of XSJS or XS projecting. And if you are on NetWeaver 7.4 SP5 onwards, use AMDP, which majorly all the companies are already onto. But just in case you are not and still want to transport it to quality system, creating a procedure in HANA database, then you can follow the one which I will demonstrate now quickly. Can we build a standalone product using HANA Access and SAP UI5? Chandra is asking this question. Yes, it's completely possible. That's what the Access is built for. Okay. So the question is, can we build a standalone application using HANA Access and SAP UI5? Absolutely, yes. It's completely possible. That's what the Access development is all about. That's what my course name is, Native HANA Application Development. Okay. Native HANA Application Development. That's what it is all about. I will quickly show you in the system now. Maybe I'll show you running a very simple Access application which is already created in our HANA DB. So let me see if this application exists or don't exist. So I will quickly switch. Now you can see on the top there are different perspectives. So if you want to use Access development, you got to switch to the HANA development perspective. You can see it on the top right corner. I am selecting it. It's a HANA development perspective. That's what you need to do. Now, okay, I'll come to the answer to this question, Krish, in a minute. Let me complete this topic first. And now I'll show you that I will try to create a procedure directly into a package. So maybe I quickly create a package and I'll just give a name to this package, something I'll give a name. So let me just give a name to this package, say demo, or I'll say procedure, or I'll say reuse. Okay, that's the package name I'm giving. And you can see, guys, I'm putting it into a A4H schema. Click on OK. And you would see in a minute that a package gets created with the name called reuse as part of my content area. So I can right click and refresh the content, and you would see a new package reuse have been created. Now let me right click and create a procedure, because in order to transport it, I must have to add it inside a package, right? So I right click, say new, and I'll choose an option called procedure here. So choose an option called procedure, and you see it gives me an error message saying that procedure creation is not allowed directly here in this perspective. You have to use HANA development perspective, which means you have to create actually an Access project in order to build this particular procedure and then store it into the package. This is what I was talking specifically yesterday, that you are not allowed to create procedure inside packages directly into into HANA modeler perspective anymore. This is what SAP stopped supporting. So there is the only way, if you want to create a procedure and transport it from one database system to another database system. So option number one, either use AMDP, that's the best way. But what if you are below 7.4 SP5? Then you have to create it in database and consume it in ABAP, right? So for that reason, you would go with option number two, which I'm demonstrating here. You have to start with a very simple Access project, add a procedure into that, and then that procedure is part of a package, and then that package can be included in a delivery unit and can be transported. So never do the one which we have been doing by far, creating procedure directly using SQL command, create procedure name falana dimka. So that is a bad approach, because that won't create your procedure inside a package. Hence you have to then repeat the same SQL code in all quality and production system manually in order to generate it. So best way is this: use an access project and generate it and lock it in a package, and then package can be included in a transport via delivery unit. So let me quickly show you that. So for that I have to switch to HANA developer perspective, and after switching to this I need to go to repositories tab, and you would see my package here. So I can just right click here and say refresh, and you would see quickly here the package reuse will be available. So you can see this is a reuse package, and now I need to kind of check out this package. So in HANA we have a concept of repository. What is a repository? Just like in ABAP, you have ABAP repository, which is SEAT, which stores all your development objects inside packages. Imagine this is your SEAT view. Okay, so in Eclipse, typically, if you want to develop something inside a package, you have to check out that package first of all, and then do development into that package. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll right click on this package and we say checkout. So I just do a checkout, and now when I'm checking out, it will ask me that in your computer, where would you like to create a folder, local folder, where all the content can be stored for this particular package. Okay, so this is what it has been already asked me, and you can see it has automatically created a local folder in my computer. I will just quickly right click and just look at the properties. So switch to the ways. So maybe I'll just show you going into that computer folder which it has created for me. C drive users, Anubhav is the user, then HANA underscore work. That's a folder. It has created a workspace for me where it is storing all the project related to my which I'm going to create. So you can see it has created a local folder called reuse. The moment I check out that HANA package, it created a local folder called reuse for me, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'll just go ahead to my project explorer, and here I'll create a new access project. So I choose projects and I choose access, and literally it's not an access project, believe me guys. It's actually more like a placeholder which you're creating for the purpose of creating a procedure. So we are really not doing any access programming in this. Yeah, so we are not really doing any access programming in here. So let me just right click and say new. I'm not sure why it's not showing me an option for access. I think now it will show me. So I say access, and you can see here an access project which you can create. Okay, and this is all we're going to learn in our advanced course, creating an access file, descriptor file, privilege file, roles, schemas using access files, OData services using HANA Access. So that's completely like building a complete software inside HANA database, including complete user interface, your processing logic, your application logic, your control flow logic, your database logic. Everything will be inside SAP HANA DB, and that's called native HANA application development. There is no ABAP layer as such into that game. So I'll quickly create this. So and then I just give some name to this. Maybe say Anubhav Access, and I say share this project also with my repository. Say next, and it's also showing me the package here to which with which it is going to share this. So I can also say add workspace, and I can add a new workspace also if I want a different folder location if I want, so that I can do it. And I can also choose now the package name in which I want to store this access project. So let me expand, and I'll say reuse package. In this I want to store my access project which I'm creating. So it will now going to put the path accordingly. You see it has appended the package name before the project name, and then I can just say next, and it will also prompt me to create a default schema or a JavaScript file, XSJS file, which we are not right now concerned. I just say finish. So you saw that earlier when I was trying to create a procedure into the modeler perspective, it was giving me an error. But now from here, I can quickly generate a procedure, and that procedure would then be persisted inside my database package. Okay, so let me right click and say new and say other, and then I choose procedure, and then you can see I can create a stored procedure here and say next, and I can just give a name to this procedure, and let me just give a name, say Anubhav proc, and then I can choose the target schema in which it should be created. And of course, I'm going to choose my ABAP schema um, to store this procedure ultimately into the system. And I say finish, and voila, it allows me from here to create a procedure quickly for myself into my schema. Yeah, so that's the beauty of creating procedure from access project. So that's just the bare minimum part you need to learn. By any chance, if you're below 7.4 SP5, you don't have an option, you want to create a procedure, then you can use this technique if system is not allowing you. But majority of the companies, they're already upgraded. Current market version of NetWeaver is 7.52. So I assume majority of the companies are at least on 7.4 SP5. At least I have seen most of the companies I work with in India, they are already on 7.5 or 7.4 SP10 or something. Okay, so it's very rare to find a customer today who is on 7.4 below SP5. So use AMDP, guys. Don't go in this direction. This direction you want to go probably if you're below 7.4 SP5 or you're doing native HANA application development. And I'll just create an output parameter here. So I say out var underscore out, and I say a table I want to create. I want to initialize a table explicitly with the product ID, and I say varchar of 30. Okay, so that's it. And now I just come down and I say var out select product ID from SNWD sales order table. I can also just uncomment this piece of code and mention my default schema, SAP A4H. Yeah, and save this. Now I need to activate this procedure, then only it gets created into my underlying database. So if I can come here and show you the reuse package, just right click and say refresh here, and I just try to expand. You see my project is available, and inside my project I just try to see there's nothing into it. Okay, I literally don't have it shows me that it contains hidden objects, but actually my procedure is right now not visible neither on my schema. So you just come to schema and you just see if you see your procedure Anubhav proc, it's not at all visible or available for me to find it because I just created it. I need to activate, just like in ABAP, your code developer cannot see the object until you activate your program. Similarly here you need to first activate. So let's go back and activate this procedure. So that time it compiles and activates if there's no error found. So just right click team and I say activate, and then you see it just does a syntax check, and oops, there is some error. You see it says invalid column name product ID into this table. I guess I say line number 10 position number 20. There's a problem here, invalid. Okay, so table name is incorrect. It should be PD table, product table. I save this. So compilation fails in case something is bad, and then you can again try team, activate this procedure, and then it persists the procedure in the database for you. So let's go back to HANA Modeler perspective, and I can now right click on procedure and say refresh, and let's see if our new procedure is available or not. And voila, you see reuse, which is the package name dot my HANA Access project name, and double colon and the procedure name. It's now available for me to consume in my schema, guys. So that's the beauty of using HANA Access project. So the kind of project we create, it also serves the purpose of a namespace. You can see every procedure which gets created, it's prefixed by the package name and the access project name. Hence, what SAP can do is SAP can deliver a procedure to you saying that Anubhav proc, and you can also create in the system another procedure with the same name called Anubhav proc, because the package itself serves a purpose of a namespace for your database artifacts. Okay, so it's very interesting topic. In fact, access programming it's very powerful, and a lot of startups are currently working on access programming. If you don't have a BAP layer in your company, you just want to build complete native HANA application, especially cloud-like scenarios where you are running on SAP HANA database in a cloud system, and you want to build complete UI5 interface and the entire application logic and everything inside HANA. This is a great course for you to really learn. Okay, so a lot of new things you can learn in this. So now maybe I just call this. So I again just go to my normal SQL and say set schema SAP A4H and just make a call and just make a call to this procedure, drag and drop, and you see it generates the procedure name and question mark. Say execute, say execute it, and you'd see it. Oops, and you see the problem here is I don't have now privileges to access this particular procedure. So that's another interesting story with the HANA Access. So when you create an Access project, by default, you don't get authorizations to access the objects which are generated by HANA Access project. So you have to kind of give the authorization to yourself. So anybody who is the owner of all the database objects created in HANA system, who is the owner? Are you the owner? Is the developer is the owner of the object who creates these tables or procedures?
Sysrepo.
Sysrepo, perfect answer, very good answer. So that's a certification question. So Sysrepo is the owner of all the database objects which are created in the system, and until unless there is authorization granted to execute this procedure or to manage this procedure by the system, you really cannot call this procedure. So maybe I just quickly connect to our HANA system as a system DB, and I'll go to my SAP A4H user, and I'll quickly show you just adding authorization for this package and this access project and probably this procedure to allow my user to execute this procedure somehow using a graphical interface. So I go to object privileges, and then or sorry, package privileges first of all, and then I just add a new package privilege for my package reuse. So I say reuse. I search for my package reuse. Remember, guys, reiterating, I logged in as a system user, and by the way, you cannot do that in any of the server which you get it from any vendor, because they don't give you system user. You can only practice such things using Cal system, because Cal offers you as you are the administrator of the Cal server, and you can indeed log into your HANA DB for as a user into the system. Okay, let me just reuse, search for this package. I think I did a typo last time, and hopefully it should find the package in the system, and then I would just first grant a user the authorization to consume this package. Okay, and then I would also have authorization given to the user to call this procedure, to call database table, to make use of the objects generated by this system. You can see there are different authorizations, so I just include them over here. And then I can say, oh, for this particular one, you see repo read. And that's the reason you saw earlier when I was in HANA perspective, or maybe, sorry, in the modeler perspective, when I was checking out the package, it was actually telling me that there are some hidden objects inside. You see, contains hidden objects. Because for this package, I have not given the read authorization. Sysrepo read authorizations are also not granted to my user. Hence, I can't read the content which is there inside this package. And maybe I just activate this now, this authorization for my package, and I will also do it at the reuse level also. And then I would just also say maybe activate native object CTS. I should have activate authorization. I should have import authorization. So many authorizations are available here. You can see these are all the privileges at the package level you can give to the user. And then maybe I just right now execute it. So user would now get authorization to read these objects first of all. Yeah, so reading will be possible, and later point of time I will also grant authorization to now allow user to activate or execute indeed my procedure. So that's an object level privilege. So I just say plus, and then I search for reuse. And let me see if I can find my procedure here. You can see here is my procedure, reuse Anubhav access Anubhav proc. I just double click on that, and now you can see it gives me the privileges related to the object, and I say I want my user SAP A4H to get the authorization to also alter, drop, execute, and debug these procedures. So remember the other day I was trying to debug a procedure and I was not able to because I was not having the right authorization. And now you see I can grant authorization to the user from as a system user here, and then he should be able to execute this procedure. So let me run this, and it's pretty simple. You would see now this user SAP A4H has authorization to call the procedure as a. So all these things we will learn in HANA Access, creating privileges, creating roles. You can see here there is a role concept. So we'll learn all this role concept in HANA, how it works. There are different types of privileges. What is this analytical privilege? What is package privilege, application privilege? How do you create role for your project? How do you centrally grant the roles to your users? All that is packaged inside my HANA Access training. So that's a very nice training, in fact, and it's very unique content designed in such a way that you can understand and build a complete native application in HANA DB. And it's an open challenge today. Nobody offers this kind of course online at this point of time except OpenSAP, but their courses are again so high level. So it's kind of difficult for you to learn things from very scratch because they expect you to know a lot of things from beginning, and it's kind of little overview kind of courses. So now it's granted, and you see the grantor. Who is the grantor? You see the sys repo is the grantor because he owns these objects in the system, and that's what you can really see that though I'm the developer, I developed the procedure, but still myself don't have the authorization to execute that procedure. So that's a tricky question in certification or in interview. Typically people ask you, who is the owner of the database objects which you create in the system? So your answer should be sys repo. Yeah. So you can see the grantor here is also, though I granted as a system user to this user the authorization, but it's actually sysrepo who is the owner who can only grant authorization of these objects to the other user. Clear, everyone? The concept of sysrepo, and nobody can log in as a sysrepo user. And in fact, if I try myself as a system user to call the procedure, I can't. If I can, then you imagine what will happen if you have a bad guy in your system administration who is a HANA system administrator, and he execute a privilege which increase his salary in the system, right? He can do that. So even system user can't call this procedure. Is the sys repo user who is only have authorization to actually execute this to grant execute permission on this procedure to somebody, and system user cannot itself grant itself the permission to execute this procedure. System can user can only grant privileges and to execute this procedure to other users. Okay, so that's done, and now I can come back and then try to re-execute this. And okay, it's saying insufficient privilege. I'm not sure why is that so, and maybe I'm not sure. Ideally it shouldn't. I already have the authorization to execute this procedure in the system. I'm little worried why it is saying like this, insufficient privilege. Let me just close the console and open the console as a user. So let me just try that. So I just kill the session and open another session, and then try to call the procedure again. So I just say call, and then quickly drag and drop. So let me see if it's making it appear. So maybe just go back, and I can see there are a lot of things here. And so we will learn all these things. What is access app, access privileges, all these concepts we will be learning in our access.js course, advanced course. So maybe just drag and drop this guy. Oops, sorry. So just drag and drop here the procedure name. Okay, it's not taking it. I don't know. Maybe I just go to systems view and try to drag it from here, and then just put question mark and execute this. And voila, you see in another session, I have now successfully able to call my procedure which is available. And now the beauty, what is the beauty of this approach? Anybody? What is the advantage of this approach now as compared to what we did in previous classes by creating create procedure statement? What is the advantage you will gain with this concept of creating procedure in a package? Anybody? Yes, that's exactly right, Krish. You got it right. You can now transport this procedure to your quality and subsequent systems quite easily with the help of delivery unit concept. So you can switch back to the HANA administrative perspective and go to window and say perspective and open perspective, and maybe I'll just open HANA perspective for allowing me to, or sorry, open a view, a quick view in HANA to be able to uh, create a delivery unit. So I say switch to HANA Quick View, and here I can now create a delivery unit considering my package. So I choose my system and next, and I can just say whatever content I have in my package, which is reuse package. You may have some tables, you may have some views, you may have information models, decision tables, procedures, functions, user defined functions of any kind of type, and all of that you can include. You can see the other day we created a delivery unit Anubhav, and now I can include my reuse package, and then this delivery unit can be transported to all the quality and corresponding production systems. So you see, it also includes automatically all the sub packages which are part of this package, and all that, my including my access project will also be transported. And the beauty of this approach, what will happen, system would, the moment system activate this HANA access project in the quality system, it generates the procedure at runtime. So if you change something in procedure tomorrow, you just have to follow lifecycle the way you follow in ABAP. So you don't have to worry about what will happen if I change my table. This HANA access project will take care of adapting your table in your quality system automatically. Just the way you make a change in your dev system to your database table, lock it in a transport, release it, it reaches to quality, it blasts there, and then it unpacks your transport, and then it adapts your changes automatically to the system, underlying quality system. So same fashion, this development process in HANA will also follow. Congratulations, thanks to the access approach of creating database artifacts, and this is specially used in the cases of native HANA application development. We don't use it much as an ABAP on HANA developer, but yes, if you want to become a native HANA application developer, this is what is pretty interesting for you to know. Yeah. So these kind of content, these kind of concepts, nobody will teach you on internet. Believe me, none of the trainer. It's an open challenge. If any trainer is covering all these concepts in their training, it's an open challenge, guys. They don't even know. Okay, so the other day I was talking to one of the trainer who is training. I won't name the trainer, but he's training ABAP on HANA since many days, and I was just asking him what's the difference between referential join and inner join. In he was like, okay, both are same. So then I showed him the view creation, and I asked him, see, in HANA when we create information model, we get two options for these joins, and if they both are same, then why would SAP do this thing? Why SAP would do such kind of stupidity to create two entries, one with referential join and one with inner join? So you already know the answer of this question, guys, because I already taught you the types of joins in system, and you already know this. So I hope this gives you some perspective of the advantage of using HANA Access project. So it's truly not an Access project. We didn't create any server-side JavaScript file or truly an Access file, but yes, it's just provides you a reference handle to create your procedure natively into HANA database, activate it, follow the life cycle the way you do it in ABAP systems, putting all your objects inside packages, providing it as a unique namespace, allowing you to transport via delivery units, lifecycle management, and hence activation, deactivation, change tracking, change management, all of that is being taken care by Access project into the HANA database. So hope you like the sneak peek of what we exactly doing. with the access type. But yet again, the question, answering to your question, Ranjan, now hope you understand what is the better approach for you as an ABAPer. ABAPer, you never go to DB and create procedure in DB and then do a bottom up until unless you're below 7.4 SP5. If you are on 7.4 SP5, you have a safeguarding done with the help of AMDP. AMDP is going to save you. Okay, you are there in class, Ranjan. It's good. You are here. So at least you can understand now where I am heading towards. So let's talk about ABAP Managed Data Procedures now in the system. So in the last class, I gave one quick overview. So there is again another question from Krish. What are all the prerequisites to learn HANA Access? So let me quickly tell you, usually my courses are always designed in a way that you are a college fresher, you come in and you learn it. So just to give you a brief introduction of what are all the prerequisites I would at least expect you to know a little bit. So you should have anyways, I'm going to cover everything right from scratch. So basically I'll start with first JavaScript. What is JavaScript? So you need to have a fair idea of JavaScript syntax to learn XS, because we also use heavily XSJS, server-side JavaScript and client-side JavaScript to build UI5 based applications. So you should have, we will be looking into the JS part. We'll learn JS, that's a basic. We will also look at basics of HANA database, but since you already a part of my ABAP on HANA course, some of these, like 30% of this course will be again a repeat for you in my XSJS course, because I'm going to talk about SQL scripting, I'm going to talk about procedures, user-defined functions, how you can create the projects. And if you're already part of my SAP UI5 course, you've taken it, then some part of this also will be repeated. So 50% of access course is actually coming from these two courses, which is my ABAP on HANA course and SAP UI5 course. So that's where this 50% of this course is built. My access course is built on top of it, and then on top some new concepts like XSJS, XSO data services. We have catalog objects. We have a concept of repository in SAP HANA. Okay, we have concept of creating a different variety of artifacts. Then we have also concept of HANA CDS, very important concept. So here we are learning ABAP CDS concept. In this course, we will extensively go and learn HANA CDS concept. We'll talk about different database artifacts, creating them natively into HANA DB. And then we'll also talk about Node.js programming. So how can you use Node.js programming and deploy your application into HANA. In this course, you will actually see a new angle of SAP HANA database. So here, from ABAP perspective, HANA is more like a database for you. It's more like a hybrid database which does OLAP and OLTP processing together for you. But when it comes to HANA Access development, you would see HANA as a platform. Okay, so HANA will act like a platform, and this platform offers you a lot of services like UI integration services. It offers you web server, lightweight web server. It offers you lightweight extra small application server, which is called extended services application server, which is what exactly XS stands for. And we will see how can we build our orchestration logic using server-side JavaScript, and there is a new concept called XS Advanced. So and also we can do all the database related operations which we are today doing in ABAP system, like select star from table or select insert update delete, all that natively into HANA DB using XS programming model. And then we will build a user interface on top of this. And then we will also see a completely new angle of SAP HANA using SAP HANA Web ID. So this is something which is you may be hearing for the first time. So you might have heard about SAP UI5 Web IDE, but this is something also HANA also natively offers. Let me see if I can somehow show that to you in our CAL server. So HANA also offers us natively something called a UI, which you can make use of, and you can really make a call to it. Let me just try to make a call, and if possible, just to show you that what is that web ID I'm talking about related to access. So I just come here quickly and maybe just go to my project and just right click here and create a new project file, access.js file I want to create this time. So server-side JavaScript file I want to create. So here it is. Just say name it as Anubhav access and just use a basic template and just create a very basic access.js file and quickly activate and run this in the browser. And then probably show you the HANA Lifecycle Management, which is more like a web IDE based tool. So you see, it's more like a JavaScript coding. Don't worry about this, looking into this code. Don't panic. I'm going to explain you all of this in detail in our Access.js course if you're subscribing for that. And maybe just first do a team activate so that it gets created in the server, and you would see a little nice cylinder icon, which means it's got activated successfully, and just do a run and test my Access.js service directly on my on my on my system. And now you see it's trying to make a call to this host name, but this host name doesn't exist at this point of time. So I have to also kind of maintain a relationship of this and tell the system that this is something which you got to refer to. But right now, maybe I just quickly log into IDP and show you guys connecting to my HANA HANA IDP. Maybe I'll just quickly, okay, maybe I'll just quickly connect to my remote system using my Cal server. So let me just go to my Cal server, stay connected, and just connect to my remote IDP so I can quickly show you the running my HANA Access engine over there. And we also have a Web IDE tool in SAP HANA embedded. So you don't have to install a HANA Studio at all. You can actually do all the activities which we did, running SQL console, running everything. All that is completely possible, completely possible with the help of Web IDE. Okay, so let me just connect to the system. My Cal system here to remote desktop and just try to run my HANA Web IDE to showcase that you don't need any HANA Studio installation, guys, actually, to call it. So maybe just see if I can find the address of my Access engine, where my Access engine is running into my Cal server. So I just see this here on the welcome page and search for Access if I can find one. If I don't, then I won't meet. Okay, your doubts are clear, Ranjan. Very good. So I just search for Access. Okay, I don't see that over here. Let me just check if I can find some details about my Access server, or maybe I can just try out one thing, guys, quickly. Let's try and use this URL which it has put here, which it is not able to run, and run it directly from here. So it says add exception, confirm, and I can see it's logging to my HANA Web IDE. That's my Web IDE, guys. This is called HANA Lifecycle Manager. So you can actually use HANA Lifecycle Manager to develop your complete application end-to-end in Web IDE. So it's a web-based, browser-based tool introduced with SAP HANA SP6 onwards. I will showcase this exclusively in our course, HANA Access Development course. We will learn about this Web IDE, how to use this to build complete application without HANA Studio. And I'll just connect to this. Let me just pump in my password for my HANA system. And I just log in and say it's forbidden. Okay, because I logged in as a A4H user and system would allow me to use that actually. So I have to probably log in with another user. So just come here and okay, I think the URL is incorrect. SAP HANA Access. Let me just see if Access engine is running, up and running. Yes, you can see Access engine is up and running, and there is a path which I need to actually follow here to call my HANA Lifecycle Manager. So let me just quickly check it in my notebook. What's the path? So I have noted down somewhere in my notebook. So let me just check quickly the path which I need. I don't remember the path of my Access Lifecycle Manager, so I'm just checking that out. What is the path I need to refer to launch my HANA Lifecycle Manager? Yes, I got the path. It's SAP HANA Access LM. which was correct only. But it's forbidden for this user. The reason is very simple, because my SAP A4H user doesn't have a right to access the lifecycle manager. So maybe I'll quickly log in with the system user, which is the administrator here. Just connect. Okay, for this also it's forbidden. Okay, so maybe I think currently I don't have it enabled in my system, but you would be able to connect to this. Maybe I'll show you if I can connect to my web IDE. So HANA editor, press enter. Okay, I'm not able to connect, guys, to any of these tools. IDE editor. So system is not allowing me, but fortunately, if I would have had set up the system correctly. So currently, to demonstrate this course, we will use HANA Express Edition. So I will also show you using how to set up SAP HANA in your local computer. So HANA Express is a lightweight edition available in SAP portal, which you can download absolutely for free and install it in your local computer. It's a lightweight HANA version, and and you would not need any server access for my access course. So I will first show you how to set up HANA Access Express Edition, on which we will be doing all the exercises for our course. We will learn all the things which we learned here, a repeat of that about 20 to 30%, and 20 to 30% of repeat of UI5, and then learn access relevant techniques to build a native HANA application, and then how to transport your objects, what is the package path, what is the access project, all the different variety of artifacts. So that's just an overview, guys. So hope you got some idea about what is that we are planning to do in access course. So there is no prerequisite yet again, because some of the things which you don't know, or I don't care, I treat you as a fresher, and everything I will be including into the course. And beauty of this, you don't need a server. I will teach you how to set up your own server in your local computer, a lightweight HANA Express edition, and that's it. You can then practice everything in your local machine, local computer. Okay, so that's what we will be doing in the access course. Okay, moving back to ABAP Managed Data Procedure. So this one I'm not able to show you here, the lifecycle manager of SAP HANA, which is a web ID based tool. Without installation of any studio, you can work with HANA DB. So now moving back to ABAP Managed Data Procedure. So what is ABAP Managed Data Procedure? We discussed about it. So whenever you want to now create a procedure from ABAP system, you have an ABAP system, you create an AMDP, and the moment you call AMDP first time, it automatically creates the procedure in the backend. So what is an AMDP? Essentially, it's a method into an AMDP class. What makes a AMDP class as an AMDP class is this special marker method. So why Spider-Man is Spider-Man? Because he has big powers, and big powers um, comes from a special thing which you gain it in case. So that special thing we will give to our AMDP class by adding this marker interface to AMDP class. Okay, and then we will just add a method. Usually we put a static method, because then you don't need to create an object to call that method. You can directly call static method by class names. Yeah, that's a basic OOPS rule. And we can then see later point of time our entire OIA scenario running using AMDP. So let's go ahead into the system and try and create our AMDP class and AMDP method, and then complete end-to-end open item analysis scenario into the ABAP system. So we will reuse the majority of the code which we had created by far in get OIA method. So maybe just close all these stuff from here. That's all not necessarily used, and just maybe call our get OIA method and just see if it is existing. Yes, it exists, and I'm just going to use its code. So maybe just go back to my schema and procedures, and then just use get OIA, double click over here, and then let's see here. So you can see now here my complete procedure. So I'm going to create this using ABAP ABAP system. So that's what you will use, Ranjan, as your question. You will see that today we will do it in ABAP natively, and when you run it, it creates procedure automatically in the database. So you have to take care of transporting only your AMDP. The moment you transport your AMDP, it reaches to quality, it blasts there, and in the quality, it will unpack the procedure and creates the procedure in the corresponding HANA database and HANA schema. So it's a top-down approach which we are taking now. So let me switch to my ABAP development perspective, and I'll just close all these unwanted windows, maybe except get OIA. I'll just close everything. I don't need them. And then I come here to my, okay, I'll also delete this access project for time being. So don't think that it'll delete from server, it just delete it from client. And now I can just go for my A4 ABAP for HANA system. And you see, guys, the server, which is our S4 HANA system, which I arranged to you, Chandra, the MO5 user, you can also add it in your local computer, in your Eclipse, and you can work from your local Eclipse to that server as well. So our next CDS topic, we will be talking on this particular one. Okay, so let's come down, and then maybe just going to create a new class. So I'm just going to right click and say create a new class. I'm just going to name this class as CL AMDP underscore open item analysis scenario, and just say Anubhav's real-time OIA scenario using AMDP. It's very simple, guys. AMDP is nothing actually. It's very simple, and just that's it. And remember that's name, and say finish. And they should end up creating a class for me. If it doesn't exist, it would create. Otherwise, it's going to pop me up a message saying that the class already exists. So hopefully it doesn't exist. Though it was giving me code completion. I think I was practicing it in some other system. That's why it gives me a code completion saying that class exists. But yeah, so you can see a new class has been created. So the disadvantage of using ADT here is right now you don't have a graphical tool the way you have it available in SE24 in SAP GUI. Okay, but the advantage is you can open SAP GUI from here. So anybody, do you remember the shortcut in our first class? I taught you how to open SAP GUI from your ADT. Anybody? What is the shortcut?
F8.
F8? No, no, not F8. Anyone else want to try? Control 6, perfect answer. So press Control 6 and just choose it, and it launches the SAP GUI window in your ADT directly. So you can also have a look at the system directly. So prerequisite for that is SAP GUI should be installed in your system. That's it. So go to SE24, and you can also check out your class over there as well. So you just put it here, says display, and you can see your class. It's okay. It's already displayed over here. That's why it's not displaying me in the SAP GUI. But yes, if it is closed here, you can see that also in the SAP GUI window. But now that's not an important part. Important part is to give power to this class now. So in the public section, I would just include first my marker interface. So I say interfaces. And you see, Eclipse also gives you nice code completion. It's just a matter of time you get used to it. In my first course of ABAP on HANA, I was kind of very discomfortable working with ADT. So majority of the things I showed my students in SAP GUI only. And in just about 2 months, I now got so used to ADT. I love working with ADT. And as I told you, ABAP is in my blood. If you take a blood tissue of my blood and give it to a lab, you would find ABAP tissues in my blood. So I love coding ABAP, whether it is in SAP GUI or in ADT, it doesn't matter anymore for me. So IF underscore AMDP marker HDB, that gives a special power to this class. And I save this quickly, and then I would define a public method as well. So I just say class hyphen method to create a static method. So I just say class hyphen method. And then I'm just going to create a method over here, guys. So my method name is, let's say, get open item analysis. That's my method name. And I'm just going to import a table. So this method is going to export a table. Okay, exporting parameter, and it's a et underscore results. And the type of this et underscore results is what we created yesterday. If you remember, z demo underscore tt underscore oia. That's the type I created yesterday to return the results of open item analysis scenario. Now I see ADT is kind of nice. Without even clicking on check button, it gives me uh, a quick hint here that my method implementation is missing. Hence, I would have to go back and provide an implementation. You can also right click here and do a quick fix. You have a quick fix option available, which would automatically create an implementation. Oops, I'm not able to see that. Why am I not able to see that option? Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I just have to click a left click and you would see some options, rename, and you see here an option called add implementation for this method. So just double click, system will automatically create, your ADT has the power to create an implementation snippet into the implementation of your class. Wow. But as I told you the syntax yesterday, you need to also mark this method as an AMDP method, and there's a special syntax you need to use by database procedure for HDB language SQL script using the tables which you are planning to consume inside your AMDP. Okay, and I would also like to quickly create a database table in my ABAP system so that I can hold the threshold value for Mr. James into the system. So let me just connect to my SEPGUI and quickly create a DB table from SE11, which will hold the customizing values for Mr. James. So I go to SE11 and I can come here and say Z demo, and maybe I say Z DP cust I want to create. Okay, customizing table, click on create button, and I say customizing for OIA. Those who are joining my session for the first time, please look at my previous classes. We discussed about what is real-time open item analysis scenario. This is something which you can also demonstrate in your company, guys. Very important scenario for you, all of you to learn. So first field is mandate, client field, and then I have an ID field which contains the uname. That's my primary key of the table. And then probably I will put average open days. I will also put a client field. So client field is already there. So average open days is of type, let's say integer 4. And then I will put in which currency code I would like to convert my value of sales orders. So that's what Mr. James would decide, but let's refer the data element from existing database table. So all of these tables I have already taught you in my OIA data scenario, OIA model. And then you come down and check for gross amount and currency code here, currency code, there you go. And then I say gross amount, I would say gross amount, and then also pick it up the data element over here. What else we wanted? So that's a threshold amount, that's a currency code, that's the average number of days, ID and main date. I think that's all what we need for OIA scenario. Let me just check. We were reading currency code, client, max gross amount, max open days, and that's it. I think max open days and max gross amount. So let me just put max gross amount here. Same name probably makes more sense, and max open days. Yeah. Great, save this and activate this database table, maintain technical settings before that. So that's my customizing table in ABAP, which I can have now maintenance done for per user. The customizing setting can be done. Activate this table. Okay, error occurred because I forgot to specify the reference field in yes, you're right. So currency and quantity fields always have reference fields in ABAP. That's a basic ABAP knowledge I expect you to know. And that's it. So those who don't know ABAP, please email me, guys. I will guide you the best way to learn ABAP. So this course is the prerequisite is ABAP for sure. You are an ABAPer. You want to go ABAP on HANA. You need really truly ABAP knowledge, data dictionary knowledge. Yeah, very important to learn ABAP on HANA. That's what I expect at least each one of you. However, I showed many of the concepts in this course, which maybe you are not aware as an ABAPer. So now go here to create entries and just maintain some customizing for developer user. 830 days, euro currency, and something exceeding 60,000. I want basically 600,000 actually I wanted. So that's the value. And I think, yeah, looks okay. Save this and we are done. So that's a customizing table. And now let's go ahead and pump in my code, SQL script code, which I already tested in my HANA DB directly, and copy this code from here and directly pump in into AMDP. So copy this from here and just bring it into your EDT. And here it is, this method, and pump this entire code over here. Yeah, you see guys, I pumped it completely and you see it's saying war out. It should be ET results. Okay, that's my output table name, ET results. So let me just show you ET results here. Yeah, so that's okay. And now one important thing is this method. You see it's giving me a lot of errors because system is not able to understand what exactly this code is. We have to tell the system, boss, this is a SQL script code. You don't try to understand this code. It's a SQL script code. We need to tell the system that's an AMDP. Okay, so now I just come here and make it in AMDP, and that's how you do it. By database procedure for HDB language SQL script. So by database procedure for HDB language SQL script, and then you have to mention using. And let's say if I forget mentioning using, save this, you would see it's giving me an error. So first of all, it's here. Method this contains database procedure, which means ET result cannot be defined as a reference parameter. So it has to be by value, guys. It's actually AMDP. So any parameter which you put should be by value, not by reference. So you have to just add value here. That's the first issue you found. Save this, error is gone. And now you see that it's giving an error on this DP cust table. So this DP cust table was created in HANA DB directly. It was not an ABAP table. So I have to replace now this with my ABAP table, customizing table, which I have it here. That's my Z DP cust. That's the table name, ZDP cust. So let's use that. Go to ADT here. And now you see also it's kind of giving some more errors because of some other things. Let me just save this. Yeah. So second error is coming. You see again, if I highlight, it tells me that this ZDP cust is unknown. Okay. So you remember guys, I told you one prerequisite. If you are using a database table in AMDP, what is the prerequisite? Can anybody tell me? Yesterday's class I told you. What is the prerequisite if you are using a database table in AMDP code? Anybody? See here. Using table which you are planning to use inside SQL script code. That you have to put it, guys. Okay? That you have to put it. So let's do that. So I have to put all the tables in the using clause in my AMDP. So using this space SNWD underscore BPA table, SNWD sales order invoice header table, SNWD sales order invoice item table. That's it. And you see the error is gone and you don't have a client field anymore. You have a mandate field. So let's read mandate. And you don't have a max days open. So what's the column name I have in my customizing table? It's max open days, not max days open. So let's put that to the local variable. Save this. It looks good. All of that looks good, guys. You're ready to shoot this AMDP. Let's activate the class and we are ready. Let's see if an error comes. Nothing comes. Congratulations. First time successful creating your first AMDP. And that too a complex open item analysis scenario. Okay, so if you're liking this video, please like, share, subscribe this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please leave your comments. I would love to hear your comments on YouTube. If you're liking this session, if it helps you, or if you want the same video is going to help your colleagues, please feel free to share this video your colleagues also. Okay, now let's go back and try to call this. It's so simple now. It's just like a common natural ABAP method. So you can create a report program which can call this ABAP method naturally, though it's an AMDP. So one question to all of you. Do you now see a procedure in your schema getting created in database? Do you see a procedure? I activated it. Do you now see a procedure in HANA DB? Yes or no? Anybody? Do you see a procedure get open item analysis in HANA DB? Let's go and check it out. So I go to my HANA modeler perspective, go to my schema, right click on procedure and say refresh. And now let's see if I see my procedure get open item analysis here. You see guys, there is no procedure called get open item analysis. See, it's not there. It's literally not there. Okay. Why? Why it's not there? And what shall I do?
It is here only when you actually use it for the first time.
Perfect
Execute it for
answer.
the first time.
This is what we learned in the last class. You need to call it. And the first time, the moment you call this procedure, AMDP system would persist this procedure in database. And from next subsequent time, it would just check if there's a change. If there's a change, system automatically manages the version of the procedure in underlying database. If there is a change, if there's no change, it makes a call to the procedure. That's the beauty of AMDP. Hope you understood now, Ranjan, the concept. What is that ideal approach you need to go forward? If you want to create SQL script procedure in HANA DB, use AMDP concept, because you don't have to worry about versions. Tomorrow you may make some changes. You don't have to transport your HANA object to the quality, not required. Just transport your ABAP procedure, make a change simply in ABAP procedure, transport it, done. One object, one simplified lifecycle management with the top-down approach in ABAP and database AMDP concept. Let's go in, and now I just going to create a new report program. So let's create a report program. So yesterday we created one for demo, OIA, MDP. I'm creating, guys, and it's very simple now. It's very natural, very simple. Say OIA using ABAP Managed Data Procedure, executable program, local object, and now just you will shoot this up. So it's very simple. It's just, calling a static method. So maybe just use the class name equals to, and it's one static method, and that's it. Importing the results, and just going to import the results. Just declare my internal table. Type zdemo OIA, table type for OIA which I created earlier, and then just put in here, and then oops, okay, it is CL demo output, and just write this output on the user interface, automatically prints it on the UI. Save this, activate it. Are we ready? Let's shoot up and see what Mr. James has to say about it. Execute it. Oops, nothing is coming. Is there something I'm missing? Anybody? Is there something I'm missing? I just put a breakpoint, and let's execute. Hopefully it should work, but maybe if it is not returning any data, it may not work. Okay, so maybe it is not returning any data. That's why probably it may not work. So I press F6. LT result, you see 38 records, seems to be fine, but it's not printing. I understood the reason. It's not write statement, it's display data. Write writes to buffer, and you have to call display method to display this data on the user interface. And let's see a happy Mr. James. Execute it. Voila. Voila. Congratulations, guys. ABAP Managed Data Procedure, complete end-to-end real-time open item analysis scenario at your doorstep. Congratulations. That's your AMDP concept, guys. Now tell me, guys, can you learn AMDP concept without SQL script? Without having knowledge of SQL script, is there anybody who can create AMDP? Creation of AMDP is not a big challenge. Okay, writing SQL script code is a challenge, and that's what these trainers are lacking in. Nobody teach SQL script on internet. All these trainers I've seen, they will just teach AMDP concept. वो क्या है, बच्चा भी पढ़ा देगा वो तो. Even a kid can teach you MDP concept. What is there in this? Do you think it's something crazy to understand? Do you think this is something crazy to understand? Creating a simple class, adding an interface, adding a method which has export parameter, and then just putting this hard-coded text with some database tables. Is this crazy? Nothing, nothing. What is complicated part in this? Anybody? What is complicated part? This is complicated part. And this is what nobody will cover. I am working so hard to improve India's reputation, which these trainers are spoiling continuously. I don't know how long I have to work so hard to improve India's reputation, which these trainers are spoiling, guys. They are spoiling India's name. Because of them, people stop respecting India. They see India is cheap quality, bad quality training India. This is what the impression which I hear from a lot of people outside India. When I meet people, when I meet in my corporate training assignments, they say cheap training. That's what their impression is about India. I'm just trying to work so hard to improve that reputation, guys. Day and night, this is the highest, this is what I work for, this is what my ambition, this is what my goal, to somehow improve reputation of India at front of world, that yes, not just we are good in IT, but we are also good in teaching. So, and I really need each one of your effort. Stop buying trainings from Hyderabad trainers. Even though they promise you anything, stop buying it, guys. I want you, all of you, to take a pledge. If you really want to help me in my mission of improving India's reputation, stop buying Hyderabadi trainer videos. Stop buying it, guys. You cannot improve it unless this is what my dream actually. One day people should respect Indian trainers. This is what I want. Over and over, year and year, they have spoiled complete reputation of India at front of the world. And I'm just trying to, I don't know how much more effort I have in my life. Till the last moment of my life, I will try to do it, guys. I will try to improve it as much as I can do it. I will try, but it is impossible until I need until you support me. Okay, just trying to do that, guys, and just trying to convince people, but unfortunately not able to success so much because their marketing is so strong. They approach people like hell, you know. The marketing is strong, and then when people get into their trap, their trainings, then they realize the real problem of the training. It's not at all, nowhere near closer to the real time. The way we coded complete open items analysis scenario, I challenge if they can show you coding this. SQL script is the important part here, not creating AMDP. Anybody can demo you the AMDP code, and you can look at internet. You are smart, you are already an engineer working so hard, you know IT industry very well. Just look at the blogs, you will understand in 2 minutes how to create an AMDP. What is challenging is learning SQL script, which nobody covers, which you saw in our course. That's the uniqueness of our course. We learned complete SQL scripting, syntaxes, differences, understanding what are all the pros and cons, different variety of data types, everything we covered in our course. You know every single line of code, and you all can write it quite nicely now, whatever AMDP it is. Okay, it's just a matter of copy pasting your SQL script code in a method in ABAP, activating it. And now let's come back and see the real showstopper. Right click here, the procedures in HANA DB, refresh, and let's see what happens. Anybody, do you see our procedure getting created in the system? Anyone? Do you see our AMDP got replicated to a database procedure in the system? Yes or no? Anybody? Yes, there it is. Okay, there it is. And what do you see? Another thing, what is this? You see there is a timestamp before this. This is a timestamp. What does it indicate? What they do internally in system is they keep track of the version of your AMDP using this timestamp. So tomorrow, if you make some change and transport the change to the quality system, system compares this timestamp and see if there is a change. When was it last updated and when was it last activated? And there's a change in it. This is how system will know that there is a change into it, and then it has to automatically do some engineering to adapt your change rather than doing the whole or putting the load on you to adapt things. System does it automatically, and for that reason it stores a version with the timestamp also in the database for every single AMDP in the system. Hope it's clear, everyone, what is the purpose of this thing. Okay, so main is this one. This is the activated version of your AMDP which you're calling, and that's inside the database. Look, that's a database view of your AMDP procedure. So complete lifecycle has been simplified with the concept of ABAP Managed Data Procedure. It's a top-down approach, and that's what takes me now to the next concept, CDS views. So we saw in our course using ABAP using information modeling. We saw attribute views. We saw analytical views. We saw calculation views, all that we saw it by far. So now we will move on to CDS views. So CDS also follows the top-down approach. You create a view in a ABAP system. The moment you activate it, it then persists corresponding, or it automatically creates a database view in underlying HANA database. So that's also another approach of doing code to data paradigm, where the entire code gets executed in underlying database. You have only final result which is being sent from your HANA DB to the ABAP system. Hence, you get performance gains using CDS views also. CDS not just gives you this advantage, it also gives you a lot of advantage. So let's start with the introduction of CDS views. What exactly is CDS view? Why we use them? How they are different than the natural views which you have it in the system. So what is a CDS view? What is a CDS view in ABAP? You might have seen this definition, very common, available on internet. I'm again repeating that just from the interview point of view. What is CDS view? Somebody ask you, what is a CDS view? So CDS view is nothing but CDS is stands for core data service. Okay. Okay, I will take your question, Ramesh. So let me take a question. So Ramesh is asking one question. Let me first take that question on AMDP. So he's saying, Anubhav, can we have some scenario with select option on AMDP? Absolutely, yes. What you can do, Ramesh, what exactly is your scenario? Can you bring that scenario to me, and then I will code and show you the AMDP using that scenario. If you can bring me some use case, let's say, or maybe I'll do one thing. I'll create a use case and I will create a YouTube video with that use case. Okay. I will create a YouTube video with that use case in which I will create a select option on the user interface. This select option, I will take user the list of product categories. Okay, product categories. And when user provide, let's say, notebooks to softwares, I will pump in the select option to my AMDP and select the data from database table from AMDP. And then I'm going to read the data from database using AMDP, do some pre-processing and return that data back to a ABAP layer. Is that okay? This POC, this small use case, I'll create it for you and demonstrate in one of my YouTube video. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will soon get a YouTube video on this particular topic, and the link of this will also be available. Link of this subsequent video, this particular use case video, will be available into the description of this YouTube video. Clear? Okay, so we'll do that. So let's move on. CDS stands for Core Data Service. It is an enhancement of SQL standard. Okay, it's an enhancement of SQL standard. It is used to define semantically rich data models. Okay, semantically rich data models. You will understand what is semantically rich data model concept is in a minute. Okay, and user defined types in database. In general, we call CDS is one concept for all. What do I mean for all? Because CDS is available both in ABAP stack and in HANA stack. As I was mentioning earlier, we have a concept of ABAP CDS also. We have a concept of HANA CDS also. HANA CDS concept is not part of this ABAP on HANA course. And of course, as an ABAPer, you don't need to worry about this concept. But if you're interested to learn HANA CDS concept, which stands for HDBDD, Artifact in SAP HANA Access, then please subscribe to my next course on HANA Access Development. So you will learn HANA CDS concept into it. But ABAP CDS is what you use. Now, this is what sometimes also confuse people. Then when you say ABAP CDS, does it mean you are not doing a code to data paradigm? No, guys. It is still going to persist the view into database. It is a code to data paradigm. Your processing logic runs in HANA database completely. Only final result is sent to ABAP layer. But HANA CDS is more with respect to native HANA development. When you are coding everything in HANA, your processing logic, your orchestration logic, your database layer, your database logic like insert, update, delete, everything, your OData services, everything you are coding natively in HANA. You're completely building a software which runs completely on HANA DB. There is no ABAP stack. That's where you use the concept of CDS in SAP HANA. This was introduced with SAP HANA 1.0 SP6 onwards. This is when they have introduced HANA CDS concept in SAP HANA. And this is why we call one concept for all. Whether you're using ABAP stack, you can have CDS. You can similarly use HANA stack, complete only HANA. You can also use CDS concept over there. So syntax is also more like, you will, if you learn one, then you can, get used to the another one quite easily. So those who are planning to attend my next HANA Access development course, you will see that, it's very easy for you to switch to HANA CDS concept quite easily. Okay, so now what is this? We are saying that it's an enhancement of SQL, right? Watch this particular statement. It's an enhancement of SQL. So what do you mean by enhancement of SQL? What is enhanced? Okay, what is enhanced? So basically three important capabilities. One is enhancement of DDL, which means data definition language. Okay, with the help of that you can define new artifacts. For example, I want to define a new table, or I want to define a new view, or if I want to define probably a new table type into my database system, then I can do that with the DDL enhancement using CDS syntax. So CDS is more like a syntax you have to follow, and then it automatically behind the scene generates the SQL statements. So you don't need to get into the nitty-gritty and complexity of generating SQL statements. So CDS sits here. So this is your CDS concept. CDS input to CDS will be the CDS syntax. Okay, so there will be a special CDS syntax which you have to follow. So you will write some CDS model. You will give this model to the CDS concept itself, and then when this gets executed, the necessary SQL script or SQL statements are getting generated behind the system, behind the database. So your SQL statements are created, and then finally these SQL statements would then generate required artifacts into underlying database, which is nothing but your HANA database. So that's the concept of CDS view. So ultimately, the corresponding database objects, which is nothing but a HANA database view, gets created into the system. Clear, everyone? What exactly CDS is doing? So you as an ABAPer don't need to worry about complexity of SQL statements. So sometimes let's imagine I want to join 5 tables. Okay, so the SQL statement to create such 5 table join becomes so complex. Okay, it can become inner join, and then on top of it another inner join and a left outer join and falana dimka. So it becomes so complex over a period of time. Hence you have a more simplified data modeling language, which is nothing but CDS. So that's one USP, unique selling point of CDS concept, and it's once for all, one concept for all technologies, whether you're doing ABAP or you're doing native HANA development. It's a one single concept which with which you get familiar with, and then necessary SQL statements are getting created. Another advantage, if you want to do a code to data paradigm today, let's say you are using MySQL database, or you're using IBM DB6 database. If you want to do native development in database, you have to use native SQL statement for DB6 or Oracle database. But the moment you switch to CDS concept, what is the advantage you get? You get abstracted from SQL statements, and then when you activate your CDS, it doesn't matter which database is underlying. It could be DB6, it could be Oracle, it could be HANA DB. It automatically creates the corresponding SQL statements in the database to generate your view. Okay, and then that view gets created in the underlying database whatsoever databases, be it DB6, be it Oracle, be it MaxDB, be it Sybase DB, be it HANA DB, doesn't matter. That's one concept. So that's the beauty of CDS. The another advantage you see here is lifecycle management. So in the previous classes, we saw in the bottom-up approach, you have to create proxy objects to consume your HANA views, and that was kind of a legacy approach where you have to also manage the synchronization between both database and ABAP objects. So you have to use HANA transport container and stuff like that. So here you create it in ABAP layer, you activate, you don't care which database it is, it automatically generates SQL statements for your database and persists the view in the database layer. Best way to do core to data paradigm, whatever database you are onto. Okay, that's the beauty of CDS concept. That's why we use CDS concept. So now moving next. It also is an extension of DQL, data query language. Okay, it's an extension of data query language. So you can write. So major use is in the read scenarios. Okay, when you want to create such an analytical app, or you want to create a fact sheet app where you want to demonstrate a lot of data, a lot of facts which are there in your system. In that case, you want to optimize your read performance from the database and transfer only the final result set to database. In the upcoming days, I will show you creating an amazing Fiori application in minutes out of a CDS view using UI annotations. Okay, that's an amazing concept. You don't have to write any JavaScript coding. You don't have to know anything about UI5 Fiori. It just generates a Fiori application out of box by reading CDS views. Okay, that's part of this course, ABAP on HANA course. In fact, S4 HANA data modeling also we will discuss in our ABAP on HANA course. So stay tuned for that. A lot of interesting stuff to yet to come on your plate. Moving next, what is the next extension? It is also an extension to expression language. So many times it happens that in a typical ERP scenario, you always fetch all the data in your application layer. You say select star from my DB table, you fetch all the data in application server ABAP, and then you loop through this and do processing in AS ABAP. But with the evolution of HANA, you see that you have capabilities of fast processing because all the data kept in memory. You have capability to do parallel processing, massive parallel processing. You have also the HANA database has a good compression decompression rate to compress decompress data, column store, which gives you advantage to build aggregations on fly, and due to the column store, you also don't need secondary indexes, which would an overhead on database. So that's a simplified architecture, simplified S4 HANA architecture also with HANA DB what we have in the system. Hence you would see we can also now push down our expressions, like if there's a complex calculation you want to do inside your database, you can push down using query expression language. You can write down your formulas directly in CDS views. I will show you these things in upcoming chapter, and that's all gets evaluated at database level, and final result gets transferred to the ABAP layer. Last but not the least, you have also some advantages of using CDS. The real advantage is annotations, guys. It's a rich semantic data model. So it is very, very rich. It's a semantically rich data model. It makes use the concept of annotations. Okay, I will show you the concept of annotations. It's very simple to understand, and that's what gives the real power to the CDS views. Okay, now it's a one data model technology for all SAP products, be it HANA or be it ABAP. Okay, which we already discussed. So now moving on, what exactly happens behind the scenes when you create a CDS view? Okay, so what exactly you would do in system? What is that you will work with? So you always start with something called a CDS data definition. Okay, so the first thing which you will start creating is CDS data definition, guys. This is what you start with in your EDT. Remember one quick funda, folks. You cannot create CDS views in SAP GUI. In SAP GUI. Remember, very important point, guys. You cannot create CDS views in SAP GUI. You have to use what? Anyone? What you need to use to create CDS views? What did we use to create view proxies and procedure proxies in the previous classes?
ADT.
Perfect answer, Chandra.
Yeah.
We have to use ADT.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will start with the CDS data definition. The moment you activate, okay, the moment you activate, system would generate two artifacts for you. System would generate two artifacts for you in the system. Okay, so the first artifact system creates is something called CDS SQL view. Okay, this SQL view is directly visible in SE11 transaction in the view section. So you remember in SE11 in data dictionary, we all learn, we born and brought up learning these concepts of SE11 like view concept. Anybody? What are all the four types of views in ABAP? Who will tell me? Any ABAPer in the room? What are all the four types of views in ABAP in SE11 transaction? Anybody? Quick. I need quick answer. Database view.
Yeah, I know database view, maintenance view.
Yes, next. Projection view and help view. Four types of views we have it in the system, correct? So here system would also create a compatible ABAP view. I mean, basically a view which is visible in data dictionary, which is a CDS SQL view gets created. Another interesting point, this is what I want to emphasize more on, this is what we will be working more with. It creates a CDS entity in the system. Okay, so the moment activation happens, these are all the things which will get created in the system. Okay, clear everyone? These two things gets created in the system. We always work majorly with this guy, not with this guy. With this guy is what we work, but still you can use both of them in your select statement. In your select query, you can use both of them. This is what happens, which means if I have to transport something to quality, what is that I will transport? Do I transport these two things to quality system? Anybody? What do I need to transport to my quality system? Anyone? What do I transport to my quality system? Do I need to transport these two things to quality
Yes.
system? No, no. You just transport this definition. As you all
Correct.
know,
It
when you
creates
transport something in quality system, there is an activation process in the quality system also, right? So you might have seen, many times transport errors that you transported a table and it remained inactive in quality, right? It may so happen in your past also in your life when you're working with ABAP. You transported something, it went into quality and the transport failed. And when you go and check your object in quality system, you saw that it's inactive or it's partially active, correct? This happened with all of us in our career in ABAP many times. So that's exactly happens. So in quality system, what happens when your transport blast in quality system, it unpacks the transport, it makes the changes, it applies the changes in the transport, and it reactivates your objects. So the moment you transport a CDS, you actually don't need to transport these two babies. You need to transport this, and the moment activation takes place in quality, your objects gets created in quality automatically. So that's a quick interesting interview and certification question. What is that you transport when you say transporting CDS? What is that you transport to quality? Do you transport these two things to quality? Anybody? Now, can you please tell me what is that you transport to quality system? You transport only the definition, guys, because there is an activation process anyways going to take place when your transport unpacks into the quality, and then these two things gets created automatically in your quality system. So that's a myth. Many times we see people saying, okay, this is getting transported, this is getting, no, only the definition gets transported, it gets activated, and it generates the corresponding objects into the underlying HANA database or whatsoever database it is. So which means if you use CDS view, is it mandatory for you to be on HANA DB if you want to use CDS views? Interesting question. Is it mandatory for you to be on HANA database to use CDS concept? Anybody? Is it mandatory? No. Very good answer, Krish.
No.
It's not, because it's an ABAP concept. You create it in an ABAP system. You don't worry about it's truly a HANA database. If it is, then you get more power because you get HANA powers. But yes, the same concept works with any database. Make sure you are on NetWeaver 7.4 SP5 onwards. That's when the CDS was introduced. It would automatically create the corresponding objects in the underlying database. That's the beauty of CDS concept. we have in the system. So two important points. And now sometimes you would also see in your company, in your team, people talking this term CDS definition as some other terms also they use. Sometimes they call it as CDS document. Some people also call it as CDS source code. Okay, CDS source code. So these are just different names of same thing. Okay, so don't get confused ever in any project. If people are saying this, or this, they are all more or less same thing. Okay, that's what exactly this concept is. Okay, now so the beauty of CDS is also SAP customers and partners can also extend SAP delivered CDS views as well. Okay, that's also possible. So SAP's customers, SAP's partner can also create or extend SAP delivered CDS views. So we will see some example view on view concept also in upcoming days, where we will see extending a standard CDS view delivered by SAP for our need. Okay, this is what we will also see in our upcoming chapter. So now coming to another interesting point. You sometimes you say, Anubhav, I don't care about what CDS is. What I care, I already have a view concept in SE11. Okay, what is the value add? Yeah, many times it may so happen. Your manager will say, what is this CDS, CDS, everybody talking? What is that everyone saying, CDS view, CDS view? I don't care. To hell with CDS. I don't know. I'm happy with my database view. I have SE11, which gives me option to create multiple variety of views. So what is the value add? Okay. Why not SE11 views, right? This may come in your mind, right? Many times you'll say, Anubhav, why are you teaching so many complex things to us? What is the value add? What is that you can't do with these complex or complicated or conventional views which you have in SE11? What is more? What is so special about the CDS view concept? So that people are attracted towards it, people are using it in their projects, and especially used in many of S4 HANA projects. In fact, S4 HANA is completely built. Majority of the solutions in S4 are built on CDS. Okay, we will get some sneak peek of that also in our upcoming days. So let's have a quick comparison between our conventional views and our CDS views. So I'll put 3 columns here, a table, nice quick table, showcasing the comparison between CDS views on different parameters. So what are all the parameters? What is CDS view can do? So this is a very interesting question. When I started learning CDS, I was also pissed off. I was very worried. Okay, I mean, why CDS, man? I already have database traditional view concept. Why CDS? Why now I learn new thing? Okay, so what is the need? So then I did a lot of research and finally I came up to this conclusion and this table, which you won't find in any book or any material as such. I've collected, information from a lot of different sources and prepared and created this table for my understanding why I use CDS. So the first major important thing is code to data paradigm, code push down to database. So if you want to do an expression, you want to say A plus B or calculate a currency conversion on my euro value to US dollar, you can't do such capability, such code to data paradigm, code push down to database using conventional traditional database views, because their runtime is still remains ABAP. But as you know, for CDS, the runtime is your database. That's where they gets evaluated. That's where they gets executed. So code push down to database. That's one biggest USP of using CDS. You can't do that with traditional view. Okay. Then comes this complexity. So as I told you, if you have to create a complex view with multiple tables, your traditional view becomes so complex. You need a lot of technicalities to learn them, and there are certain limitations also with them. You have to use them for different use for different purposes. But when it comes to CDS, it's not that difficult. It's easy to learn, which we will see it in upcoming days. But these are not so easy. You need to learn a lot of technicalities of data dictionary, find out relationships, put in joins, put in a lot of join conditions, and then finally come out with it. So that's a disadvantage of using traditional views. Complexity. Then comes is the outer join. So You can support outer join with CDS views, but there is no support for outer join in your traditional database views. They all support typically inner join only. They don't support outer join concept. Then if you have complex expressions, you are evaluating something. Let's say in yesterday's class I showed you string expressions in SQL script. So if I want to use such a string expressions, or let's say I want to do a ranking algorithm, I want to run it, so all that natively in DB you can run it using your expressions. So that's possible with CDS, but there is no concept of expressions. You can't do a expression like a plus b or a formula injected to your traditional view. That's not possible. Then comes is your analytical adoption. So in next session, next session, I will show you how can you build an S4 HANA analytical app on top of CDS view using UI annotation concept. So that's called an analytical adoption. Spelling is incorrect. Okay, so that's something CDS view offers you, a great capability of CDS view. This is why I love them. You know, you don't have to code anything in JavaScript and your app is ready in seconds. Believe me, in seconds you can get your app ready. So you'll see a lot of amazing apps these days, like OBP apps. If you ever seen OBP apps in somewhere in S4 HANA projects, if you're at all working with S4 projects, you would see OBP apps, guys, in your project. So this is how these OVP Fury apps looks like. Let me just show you some screenshot of that. So you can see these are all the kind of OVP apps. That's how they look like. So you have this OVP card concept. So how these cards are built, they're all built on CDS view. And all this calculation is pushed down to database using CDS view. You see, these are all built using CDS views. It's an OVP app. So we'll see creating such an OVP app on CDS view in our course, which is specifically designed. If you are in S4 project, you won't feel alone. I'm there with you. Don't worry. I'll teach you how to build an OVP app on top of CDS view. This is part of this course. That's why I'm naming this course as ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA technical implementation course. So with this course, you will become a master also creating such kind of Fury elements. OVP app standard. We'll show all templates which are there in Web IDE to create such apps on top of CDS. We'll learn that. Don't worry. Okay, that's something which I'm offering all of you right into my course, because I have an S4 HANA system where I can demonstrate these capabilities. So that's something you really cannot do it with your traditional views. Then coming into the OData support. So you all know that if you are Fury, because that's your new user experience. So if you have anything related to UI5 Fury, it always talk to OData. Your UI5 app don't understand CDS. It only understand OData service. Okay, so if you want to create an OData service out of CDS view, yes, it's possible. A direct creation of service is possible. Okay, you have a UI annotation. Many of you already know that. It's called odata.expose. You can just add this annotation. Odata.expose equals to true, and that's it. OData service gets created out of the box from the CDS view, but that's not possible directly. Direct creation of OData not possible. Of course, you can have an OData project in that you can fire select query on a traditional view and then select the data and create an OData, but direct creation not possible. It's possible with the help of CDS view. Then comes is the types definition. If you want to create a table type to database, you can create using this, but using traditional view, it always creates a view only. It doesn't allow you to create complex types. Okay, that's not possible with the help of your traditional database views. What else? What are all the new parameters? Next, metadata model. That's another concept which SAP introduced, SAP CDS metadata model. I will demonstrate that also in our course. It's very, very much used in S4 HANA projects where you want to separate out your annotation file from the actual CDS code. So CDS mainly used for data retrieval logic, and then annotation mainly for UI building. Yeah, so you can also separate out both the UI related annotations and core CDS functionality into two different files, and that's called metadata extensions concept. In fact, metadata extensions concept, this is there exclusively available with CDS, but you can't do such a separation using traditional view. Then comes his built-in functions. So there are a lot of built-in functions like union, all, intersection, all these things are possible with CDS views. But no, you can't do that with traditional views. These special things, special features not available with traditional views. Then comes is parameters. You can't pass parameters, but you can use parameterized CDS views. You can pass parameters to CDS views for dynamic selection. Let's say in our OIE example, we did currency conversion from US dollar to euro or whatever currency we like, we can do that. So we have parameterized CDS view. You can also pass the data via entity set to these parameterized CDS views. They are ready to use. So parameterization of your logic, your view or view concept is possible with CDS, but it's not possible with this guy. Clearly no. And then ready to use system variable, there are a lot of ready to use system variables in CDS view. I will show you something called $.session. Okay, $.session dot user $.session.client. All that ready to use system variables are there, just the way you have in ABAP, SIU name and stuff. You can't have, no, you cannot do that with traditional views. It's not possible to have such ready to use variables. So now I hope it gives you a clear picture to all of you, understanding why we need CDS. So next time your manager or your colleague asks you, you have a lot to tell, they will get bored of it. They will say, oh my God, how much knowledge this guy has. You know the reason to justify your point. Why should you go with CDS view? Clear, guys? Everyone? What is the power? What is the need? Why we use CDS view? What is that it offers you? Why not then? Now the question is why not? Okay. So earlier the question was why, and after reading this, now the question is why not? Okay. So if you see somebody using, traditional views, then you say why not CDS? Okay. You can justify your answer. You can tell them. You can architect them, you can guide them, you can teach them, and all that is free. I'm giving you this PPT with you. You all can download this PPT absolutely free. Carry a printout of this with you and showcase immediately them the real value of CDS view, whomsoever you are talking to. Okay. So these are all the attractive things. Yes, Krish, you are right. These are all very attractive things which force me to say why not. Okay. So now let's move on and quickly just give you a little bit introduction with respect to SAP S4HANA. As I promising all of you that I'm going to cover S4HANA technical parts also in my course. So there are a lot of interesting concepts. Is the biggest consumer of CDS concept is S4HANA product, which is which is uh, you know uh, which is penetrating in market so fast. And you would see huge demand coming for S4HANA consultants, technical consultants in the market. And I'm mainly into technicalities of this. So major trainings which you attend online with other trainers, they will not teach you this. They will not teach you this. S4HANA, special concept CDS, they've introduced this. There is a concept called virtual data model in S4HANA. It's called VTM, virtual data modeling. So this is a special annotation which we use in S4HANA related projects for CDS view. You would not see this kind of virtual data model annotations being used in any other kind of projects, be it a suite on HANA or CRM powered by HANA or VW powered by HANA. You won't see this VDM concept. It is exclusively built for S4HANA. Okay, so this concept, virtual data model concept, what is it? How do we use it? We will discuss in detail. So basically, virtual data model concept was introduced mainly for S4HANA products, because many times it may happen that when SAP deliver a view, because there is a lot of consumption of CDS in S4 for analytical purpose, for query browser. We have an embedded analytics concept with S4HANA that's also built on top of CDS concept. SAP delivers a lot of CDS view to you. So they wanted to clearly separate the responsibility. They want to tell you, if you look at a view delivered by SAP, by looking at the view, you can see what type of view it is. Can this view be used with UI? Is this view equipped with the capabilities of analytics? Is this view can be used in analytical query tools? Is this view can be used in a query browser in Fiori application? Is this view offers me what kind of functionality? Is it doing a text join, or is it doing, it is representing a cube type of view, or is it a consumption view, or is it an extension to a standard view? Okay, all these things SAP want to define And that's why they introduced VDM. So virtual data model was introduced in S/4HANA for defining the type of views which clarifies the purpose and need of the view. Okay, need of the view. So by looking at a view in S/4HANA, you will know what is the purpose of this view. So there are broadly 3 categories in S/4HANA. There are 3 types of views. In fact, I would just say 4 type of views which we have it. From your point of view, you can use these 4 type of extensions with VDM. So first comes is interface views. Interface views are typically represented as a master data. Okay, you remember the master data concept which we learned with attribute view in HANA modeling chapter, which we learned in ABAP on HANA course, this course. So there we were having a dimension which was nothing but pointing to master table. So that's first view. These are called interface views, or some people also call them basic views. So they represent typically a master data representation, a dimension. Okay, this is what they represent. So they represent master data or dimension. Okay, these views are also used for the purpose of text joins. Okay, so any table which you have a text table joining, connecting with the main table, you can use this type of views in S/4HANA. You can mark them as a basic views, guys. Okay, you can mark them as a basic view. So the annotation which we use for them is hashtag basic. This is the VDM annotation for interface views. Another interesting point is, when you create such views, there is a naming convention you have to follow. So you will say your whatever your team name, your company name, whatever is the naming convention, Z or Y underscore I underscore. This is the naming convention you have to follow, which indicates that it's a basic interface view, guys. Okay, so whenever you see S4HANA project, you will see if a view has I underscore, it's an interface view, it's a basic view. You would see majority of the time it's talking to a master table, or it's doing a text join, or it's doing a join between master tables. That's what you would see an interface view is built for, it's used for. Okay, moving to the next type of view, it's called composite view. Composite views are usually comes under the cube category, where you want to create a view where dimension is joined with anybody. Question mark, fill in the question mark please with your previous knowledge, whatever I gave to you in ABAP on HANA session. Anybody, what do you do? What do you join dimension with? Anybody, come on please. Perfect answer, Krish. You join with fact table. So these types of views are usually from the category of cube. They are cube category views where you join your transactional data with your master data with your transactional data to derive some facts. So that's a composite view. In the naming convention of these views, usually the naming convention starts with your company Z team underscore CO consumption views. Okay, that's a naming convention you typically use. Very powerful, interesting point. Sometimes this is also interchanged with the third one which I'm telling. So you may not see sometimes exactly the composite views, but you directly see something called consumption view, which is also doing the same thing. So consumption views are usually used for the end user consumption. So consumption itself means it's a consumption view. Who is the consumer of it? Who is the consumer of a consumption view? It's analytical tools. They are the consumers. We will see that in the system. Don't worry, I have ample amount of example to demonstrate them. The Fury elements are the consumptions. So you want to build a Fury app, like I showed you the OBP app. The Fury is the consumer of these views to build a Fury application. Your SAP S4HANA embedded analytics. He is the consumer of this consumption view. So consumption views are final end user consumption purpose. That's why we build them. They usually have annotation called hashtag consumption. So you will see hashtag consumption. For them, you will see composite view, composition. Okay. And then these are mainly for the consumption purpose. So end user, end consumption view is this in S4HANA concept. And you will see majority of these views starts with C underscore, or they have somewhere in middle C. Okay, so whenever you see a view starting with C underscore, guys, it's a consumption view. It's a final end user consumption view. Those who have worked on embedded analytics in S4, you will see all the views starts with C underscore. Now you understand why it is C underscore, because it's representing a consumption view. So next time when you look at any S4 HANA demo, you will now quickly understand what exactly C underscore means. It's a consumption CDS view, guys. How simple it is to learn when you know the concepts. Now the last one is the extension views, which are actually used for extending standard functionality. The annotation which we use is extension. Okay, so they are mainly, let's say you are creating a view on top of existing standard functionality. So that's where you use extension views. So enhancing existing views. So like custom modification, if you want to do, you have to extend the standard view by inheriting from it. That's an extension view. So these are all main 4 type of view types which we put, and for defining them we need a VDM annotation. That's what was introduced in S4 HANA, guys. Hope you all know now what exactly the VDM view types are. So these, whatever I told you, basic, composite, consumption, and extension, these are view types. Okay, we will see them, don't worry. We'll try creating our views, our CDS views in conjunction to S4 HANA. Okay, so we will cover all of them. Yes, we will cover all of them, don't worry, I'm there with you. We will cover all of them. We'll see in the system how to create this, and the beauty is I have an S4 HANA system where I can demonstrate all these capabilities to you. Fortunately, I do have it. You can see this is my S4 HANA 1610 system, where I will start creating all of these CDS views, and I will demo all of them to you. In fact, final consumption view, we will learn all 3 of them in this course, guys. All 3 of them I will demonstrate, create using consumption view in analytical tools, creating Fiori apps. And then in this also, all type of Fiori apps, we will see smart filter apps, we will see OVP app, we will see ALP app, analytical list page app. All 3 I will teach you, guys. All 3, don't worry. I'm there with you. I will cover this. All that knowledge, I've gained it recently. I've gained all this knowledge. All of that is part of it. So you are an expert in S4 HANA technical implementation, technical development on S4 HANA. You are there in the company. Any project, go and sign up for S4 HANA, guys. You will learn everything in this course of ABAP on HANA. I'm going to cover all of this for you, and you will be a champion in your company. Nobody can beat you. Okay, this is all will be covered in this. If you want more detail about my course, please subscribe to onlinefurytrainings.com. Here you will find more detail about my ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA technical implementation course. This is specially for my YouTube viewers, those who are watching this video, those who have got some feel about how exactly we work with AMDP, how we want to do CDS view. The problem today is nobody is there to guide us. People are talking things, but they are not guiding us. So in this video, you will understand, in this particular course you will understand everything. So this is the course you need to subscribe to learn all of this. And I treat you like a fresher, as an ABAP fresher. Okay, so at least ABAP is a prerequisite for this course, and after you are an ABAP fresher, yes, you're ready to shoot for ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA technical training with CDS views and all type of concepts. In fact, there is an amazing concept called CDS view BOPF integration. That is also part of this course. Okay, this is what also I will cover in this course, guys. So you are on the right track. Watch out for next consecutive sessions. You will love them. You will be mesmerized with the kind of knowledge I'm going to give you in the upcoming days. You will be a champion of S4HANA technical implementation in your company. You can easily apply for an architect post right away if you gain all this knowledge. Easily you will become, if you are just a software engineer, you can easily apply for the next promotion, guys. Get ready for the next promotion, but the cost is you need to learn. Stay tuned with me. I will teach you all of this. Okay, stay tuned for the next couple of sessions. I will teach you all of this. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting video like this. You will gain a lot of knowledge in upcoming days. Please subscribe. please hit like button. Please share this video if you like this video. If you want to share and tell your friends, if you want to subscribe, you want to join together, please subscribe, please join, please share this video. Please do let me know your comments. What do you think about it? Does my training really helping you? Is this what you really looking for? Is this what you wanted? What are all your challenges? If possible, I would help you. I will create free videos for you on YouTube and post it for you. You can see I've already started Anubhav's learning series. The concepts which I am unable to cover in my UI5 training, my Fiori training, my Launchpad training, my Gateway training, my Theme Designer Launchpad training, Extensibility training, ABAP on HANA training, S4 HANA training, Access training, anything, something which I'm unable to cover due to time constraint in my training, I am giving absolutely free knowledge on Anubhav's learning series. You would get an exclusive access. You can download all the source code. Just click on the button. You will see the complete source code of this best in pizza Fiori application, including complete DPC, MPC, OData implementation with the Fiori application, with the JSON payload, with the database design PPT, with the metadata of OData service, everything distributing absolutely free to the community. Please like, subscribe, share to my YouTube channel. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. This is Anubhav Oberoi signing out for today's session. Hope you enjoyed today's class. With that, see you in the next weekend, and we will start with our CDS view concept with virtual data model on SAP S4 HANA. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a nice day and goodbye.